Hi guys, welcome back with another episode with Haley and
Ryan Lipsy, Taekwondo title. What's up?
What's up, Ryan?
Oh, it's an awesome day so far. Tons of energy, tons going on.
Tons of stuff happening. So with all of that going on, we are going to cover today the 5 tips to stop overthinking.
I need this one. I've been overthinking all morning.
Well, and I feel like, especially during this time that we're in, there's so much going on. There's so many scenarios we can play forward and overthink. And usually when we're overthinking something, it's like negative. Nobody's overthinking positive things, right?
I mean, we have a negative slant in our brain to identify threat, avoid threats. That's the amygdala's job. So yeah, we tend to skew negative.
Exactly. And overthinking back in those kind of days were actually to keep us comfortable, keep us safe. We would overthink scenarios out of like, we can't go out in the jungle because there might be a lion or tiger that's going to rip our face off right now.
Yeah, lions and tigers and bears. Oh my!
So let's not do that. So we've had to kind of restructure and put different pathways in our brain to kind of change that overthinking into being, more of an awareness. So that leads us into tip number 1, which is self-awareness. So what does that mean? Like
self-awareness. So modernizing the amygdala, because there is no dinosaur, saber-toothed tiger, insert large animal trying to eat me. That doesn't exist today. So I transfer that fear to Deborah in accounting who wants to kill me, right? or doesn't want to approve my expense report or whatever.
Or like for us, I think of like making cold calls to agents like, oh no, they're going to tell me they have their title relationship or never call them again, whatever it may be. That's where we start to go into overthinking. Any kind of business structure, you can kind of go into overthinking of like, well, this isn't going to be the perfect plan, so it must not work, right?
I overthink, and then by virtue of that, I think of all the obstacles, all the things that could go wrong are nicely cataloged in my brain for me.
Exactly, which kind of leads us in to tip number 2. Which is stop trying to be perfect.
Yes.
I think all of us have a little bit of perfectionism or some kind of goal of perfect we want to get to.
And I think we're in a place finally where done is better than perfect. That means we're continuing and to stay in action. But perfection is the enemy of progress and growth. Because like we both love Rob Dial, and he talks about give yourself the beginner's mindset. Basically what that means is allow yourself to mess it all up and figure it out, right? Fuck it up and figure it out is what he says.
Well, and we're all just trying to do our best here. We're all like, Ryan puts it in a perspective sometimes of like, we are this little microscopic being in an entire, remember being kids where you'd lay on the grass and you'd like look at the clouds and you'd like make up all these like pictures or like, oh, that one looks like a dog or thing. And we don't like as adults really do that anymore, but it really puts in perspective of how small we are here. And we're all just trying to do our best. So done is better than perfect.
I mean, just continue, give yourself grace, give yourself what the imperfections you've had in the past. Forgive yourself, leave it in the past, get in the present, do the action, and you will progress. You might mess some things up, but you got to break some eggs to get to an omelet, right? Straight up.
Exactly. Which number 3, you can't control everything. So stop.
Stop. Right? I mean, and I want to. I want this person to say that thing, and I want what I want, and I don't want what I don't want. And if those things don't happen, I suffer.
Well, and I think like having a sense of control, an example I listened to was, his dad was an alcoholic father. And so in his life, he never had control over if his dad was picking him up on time or if his dad was going to be drunk when he was going to be picking him up or what all the scenarios. So his whole life was full of uncertainty. Yeah. And that means he was trying to control everything when he got to be a business owner. And he had to realize like, that was from my past that I'm trying to control all of these aspects of my life, which to Ryan's point, like fuck it up and figure it out. Like we can't control everything. We can't control a traffic jam on the 5 because there's an accident. We can't control these kinds of things. So we just got to like let it go.
The best we can get is the illusion of control, because think about it. I can't even control the thoughts that pop into my head.
No.
I have involuntary thoughts. We all have involuntary thoughts.
60,000 of them.
And this is our brain. Shouldn't we be able to control what's popping into it? We cannot. So how in God's name am I supposed to control external events and your thoughts and the millions and billions of people around? So little is in our control. So that's why we talk about what is in my control, my activities. I never got on the Peloton and didn't get off. right yet, right?
Don't say that.
Yeah, I've
Sex
never.
in the City. He has a heart attack on the Peloton.
And if that happens, that was my destiny. But I've never gone on a jog that I didn't come back from. I've never, and you can control your activity, your attitude, and your availability. And with availability, I mean, what are you letting into your mind? What podcasts are you listening? What books are you reading? Is it all garbage TV? Is it all gossip? Is it all negativity? Well, it's no wonder if we're planting those seeds that's the flowers we get.
Exactly. So when we kind of just let it go and let things happen the way it's supposed to happen, that's when we have true fulfillment, because usually things don't happen as much as we overthink to the bad scenarios that it's going to happen.
Right.
It usually happens pretty good. And I know when I overthink and I think like, oh my gosh, I have to control this, control that aspect, usually the thing that I'm trying to control never happens anyway.
Exactly. And we can't control it. So why expend that energy, wasted energy trying?
Exactly. So, and then we have number 5, which is have a plan, right? Awareness, perfection, control.
The other one, and then have a plan.
Have a plan, right?
Yeah. So
okay.
when we find ourselves overthinking,
yes, to have the plan to be, sorry guys, we're like, what's our overthinking plan here? We are overthinking this. But when you start to overthink, like for me, I get it down. I'm like, write it all down. That's my plan. And I'm going to see how I can attack it. What's something that I can put my efforts into and making sure that I'm going to at least do 100% of what I can control on here.
That's really good.
So have a plan, write it down, whether it be jumping jacks, taking your dog on a walk when you start to overthink. What is that comes up for you when you start to overthink, to have a plan? So you have to start with being self-aware though, to know when you're overthinking.
Well, and when you're overthinking, you're usually being dragged into the future where you definitely can't control anything, because I can't change anything for the next 5 minutes, much less next Tuesday, next year. So when you get out of yourself and do jumping jacks, get into moving your body, get into breath, do 10 count deep breaths, because your body is only in the present tense. And the mind wants to go to the future, and the mind wants to go to the past, to regret or to anxiety. But if I breathe and I bring myself to here, then I can center myself. Then I have a shot at being present. If I can get out of that pattern interrupt of overthinking and bring myself back to have a plan to do 10 push-ups, to go grab a bubble water out of the fridge and walk outside and let the sun hit my face for 5 minutes, to do something to interrupt the pattern of overthinking.
Then actually I remembered what it went into, which leads us into putting our life into perspective, right?
Yes.
We have to have perspective. We have to realize there's thousands of things we can be grateful for. I mean, I had a crazy morning, but I can also think of 10 things within that morning that I can be grateful for. I was able to take my dog on a walk. It was beautiful at 6 in the morning. It was nice. It was cool out. You know, my dog's healthy. I'm healthy. I was able to make coffee, throw some eggs on the stove. Like, there's people in certain parts of the world that don't even have running water. Like, we have so much water, it's in our toilets.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
We have jobs. We have a studio we can come to and do content. We have content, the ability to think and be inspired by things and communicate those things to you and hopefully help you get inspired in your day. All those are gifts.
Exactly. And having that little shift of that gratitude really helps with the overthinking, because you start to realize, like, it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
And all we want on a visceral level, on a human level, is to know that things are going to be okay. So if you can give yourself perspective and say, look, you're right in the middle and you can't see the forest for the trees because the escrow is so horrible, or this in my life, or this relationship is soured, or whatever it is, like, zoom out a little bit, get back into your body and say, look, I've been through things before, and yet here I am, right? I've defeated 100% of the bad days I've had and horrible problems that have come up before. I'm probably going to get through this one too. I'm going to be okay. And then just do the next right thing, because getting into action will leave your overthinking behind.
Exactly. And then you don't have anything to overthink about because you're too busy in action.
You just be, and if
been
you
doing it.
and call somebody else who's struggling and lift them up, because I promise you, if you get out of your stuff and into their stuff, you get a little vacation from your stuff. That's a little hack right there. That's a little hack.
That's why we have drama TV and stuff, so we can watch other people's train wrecks.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I have for you guys today. What Ryan and I have brought was the 5 tips to stop overthinking. So in order this time, it's self-awareness. Stop trying to be a perfectionist. Stop trying to control everything. Get your life into some perspective. Give you some perspective of like, hey, it's not that bad. These are what I have. And then have a plan when you start to get overthinking and overwhelmed about what you're thinking about. So
great word.
Yeah.
All right. We hope that helps you guys. I hope there's value there for you and gets you through some overthinking fits.
Exactly. I'm Haley.
I'm Ryan. Until next time.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.